everybody. Welcome to Telli Talks, where we talk about life, growth, relationships, and all things in between. We are here at the Classic Cat, and I have two beautiful ladies with me today, Tryphena and Jacqueline. Tryphena is a life coach. She is an actress and a writer, and Jacqueline is a business owner. And I can't wait to talk to you guys about all the good things you guys are doing, the collaborations that you guys have. So cheers to that.
Yes,
cheers. Spill my
Cheers.
cheers. Oh my gosh, it's hot. Oh, this is really
I love
good.
this glass.
Yummy.
It's gorgeous.
Okay, so for the people that don't know your journey, can you guys tell us how you started and how you got to where you are today?
Should I start?
Yes.
What a question. Well, I'm originally from Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. And I grew up just loving performing, loving TV, loving theater. I was in dance class from an early age. I loved to sing. And so I just knew from an early age that I wanted to perform. I don't think I fully understood what was happening, but I just knew that whatever it was, I wanted to do it. So I was involved in, like theater and like growing up in school and church theater and all of that, dance classes and everything. And then I took a trip to New York City when I was in the 9th grade, and I saw my first Broadway show, and I was like, oh,
This is it.
that's it. I was like, I don't know what that is, but that's it. We're
That's
doing
me,
it. That's
right.
what we're doing, right? So I ended up going to Howard University, and I majored in musical theater. I was a theater major with a concentration in musical theater. And once I graduated, I just started working in theater, and my career was all theater up until 2020, actually. And I just started to feel like I wanted to shift. I was living in New York. I was on Broadway at the time, doing The Lion King on Broadway. And I was like, I just feel like there's something different that needs to happen. And I'm from the Midwest, and I lived in New York, so I was like, winter, I'm done. I'm done with snow. I'm done with winter. I don't want to do it anymore. This is depressing. The sky is gray. Like, I can't take it. So I decided to move to LA, and I moved at the end of 2020, right in the middle of, the pandemic.
The pandemic,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And since moving here, I've been doing all film work and, on-camera work. So
Do you like it better than New York?
It's
a change, because I used to live in Jersey.
It is a change.
And it's very, very different. I
It
feel like
is.
it's a lot slower paced than the East Coast.
Yes,
It's
yes.
very much, I feel like in Jersey and in New York, which is still very different too.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
hustle and bustle is like, go get it.
Yes.
And no one's in your way.
Yeah.
Like, you're in your own little bubble. Here
Yeah.
it's like, everyone wants to know what's going on and very
Yeah.
free spirited.
Yes.
It's a very different.
Yeah, New York is very much about the hustle.
Yes.
But what I will say, one thing that I do miss about New York is just how everyone is just kind of thrown in the mix together.
Yes.
Here it's very easy to be isolated. Everybody's in their car doing their thing. You're going to wherever you're going, and then you're there, and then you're going home.
Yeah, and in the midst of the traffic. That's
In the midst of the
between
traffic.
everything.
Yeah. But like, there's kind of like I don't know, New York is very, like I said, everyone is thrown into the mix together. So it's like, everybody's on foot, everybody's on the train, everybody's just out in the world together,
110%.
all walks of life, all income brackets, all career paths, everybody,
110%.
So I kind of miss that. I miss that mixing of everyone.
The melting pot.
Yeah. But I do love being out here and, just not having to deal with the cold and the snow and,
I have the rain.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know we have like a crazy, what is it, atmospheric
Yeah,
river or whatever they're
it's-
calling it.
it's
I'm like, what even is that?
Rain,
It's
right?
crazy. Yeah.
Like a little
It's like
drizzle is a flood
monsoon.
here.
Right, yes. That's crazy, yeah. But yeah, I'm loving it here. I'm loving the pace of life here. And, I love being near the ocean and seeing palm trees every day and going on hikes all the time. And so,
Atmosphere wise, way 110%.
I'll take it.
LA
Yeah.
over. What about your
take
journey? I'll take LA over East Coast any
Every
day.
day, yeah.
What about your journey? How did you get into like owning a business and getting into nails and all that fun stuff?
Well, I'm also from the East Coast, originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, although I moved here when I was 5. So I grew up out here and just always been an entrepreneur. My brother and I used to sell cookies and lemonade on the corner. I would always have business ideas that I would want to try with my friends. And so I always knew I wanted to just, try out my ideas. And I grew up playing basketball. So I didn't really wear nail polish growing up.
Was this something that your dad wanted? Because I feel like my dad, and this is why I say that, because I grew up playing basketball too, and I was the firstborn, and I felt like my dad just wanted a boy, and then us, we got a little backside on us, so he was like, "You are not gonna cheerlead, you're gonna be in big basketball shorts." So, was that something that you chose, or was that like a choice of like your parents, and then you just grew to love it? Because I felt like it was like, okay, you should play something that is a little bit more attired covered here, so was that something that you chose to do?
Yes, it was. So I first started with softball. I used to play softball from like 5 to 7, and then I don't really remember like how I got into basketball. I just used to play at school, I guess, with my friends. And from 7 all the way through junior year of high school I played, and so yeah, I really didn't wear it growing up. Playing sports is like, what am I doing with this, a nail polish? And then it wasn't until I had my daughter, our first child at the time, she was 3. So her and my son would go to my mom's, and when they spent the night and came home, her nails were always painted. And she's like, "Mommy, I want to change my color." And I'm like, "I don't have anything to change your color," because, I didn't wear nail polish. And so just being a entrepreneur, I always see the opportunity in everything. And so I was like, nail polish, let me see what's out there. And then it made me think back to my childhood too, where I didn't really see nail polish on brown hands growing up, apart from, like my mom and, people that we knew. And so I went online and I just looked at the big nail polish brands, and I'm like scrolling, website, social, and like still no brown hand. And I was like, wow, it's still the same.
That is very, so very like, true.
Crazy. So I said, well, I'm gonna start a nail polish brand, and I'm gonna name it People of Color. I want to pick out colors that look good on all shades of brown skin. And then it really grew into using the collections to tell our stories. So people of color from all around the world, and really connecting us by telling our own stories our way through the nail polish collection. So
so every color has its own story behind it. I love that. That's really very interesting. And how do you come up with the concepts of the color? And I know that's how you guys kind of did your collaboration as well too.
So it's usually, I get most of my ideas in the shower. God just drops them on me, and I'm like, oh, perfect idea, God, thank you. But it really, for example, when my first collection was SoCal Vibes. It was just 10 colors that was an ode to Southern California, where I grew up. And then it went into In the Nude collection, which was 5 nude shades to look at on, all skin tones, because I would see nude shades and it was like pink, and then like pink was the next darkest color, and I'm like, where's the rest? So for example, the darkest shade on that one is a very dark brown called Mother of Earth, which is like an ode to the woman who birthed civilization. So when the theme comes to mind, it's the theme first, and then it's the stories. So it's just the stories, and the stories will always lead us to the color, which is the same for Geechee Witch. And the story really leading us to that color.
And Geechee Witch is very new to me, so please explain the title, the name, what Geechee means, all that good stuff. Because I was like, wait, is Geechee Witch the name of the color, or is the Geechee Witch is the name of the movie? And it's a folklore. Okay, tell me all about it.
Yeah, so the Geechee Witch is the movie that I played the lead, Leah Robbins, in the Geechee Witch, which just came out this past Friday, February 2nd.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so it's based on a folkloric tale of the Gullah Geechee people, which are people of the southeastern United States, so like coastal Georgia, South Carolina, that part of the U.S. There's a group of people called the Gullah Geechee people.
Gullah Geechee,
yeah. And they are basically descendants of people, Africans who were enslaved on that land. And because the living conditions of the land, it's just not ideal. They were kind of left there to just, they were kind of left to their own devices. So they were able to retain a lot of their culture, and kind of blend their culture with Native American culture that was also there. And, you know, with language and folklore and all of these things. So the Geechee Witch, also known as the Boo Hag, is a folkloric tale of the Gullah Geechee people. And basically what she does is she steals people's skin and their breath. And if you talk to people who are in that part of the country, they pretty much all have a story about having an interaction with the Geechee Witch or the Boo Hag. She causes like sleep paralysis. You know, the goal is to take your skin because she's walking around without skin. And so she can't be in the daylight without skin. So the goal is to take someone else's skin so that she can wear it as her own. Yeah. And so, you know, people will have like night terrors, people will have sleep paralysis, these kinds of things.
And this is like all in the South.
Yeah, it's like it's all in that part of the country. But also, too, I've talked to people who are not from that part of the country who have experienced similar things. So it's
playing something like that and being a lead role in that. Does that ever? Because I know with some actresses and actors, they don't lean towards certain roles because they get like kind of embedded in that role. Does that ever like scare you or
I mean,
you know, make you feel like certain roles you don't want to play or you get too involved?
As an actor, I am choosy about what I take because you are using your body to embody some other person who's going through a circumstance that, you know, may not be your circumstance. So you do want to be careful with that just because you kind of have to take that on. You know, you're doing research, you're doing backstory, you're doing all of these things. And if it's based on something real or historic that's actually happened, you're taking on that person's reality as your own. So I think it's important to be mindful of that when choosing roles. For this, I play Leah Robbins, who is relocating to her husband's childhood home after his mother passes away. And so
she's with her husband.
Yeah, I'm with my husband. And so my character's from New York. And this is my first time coming south to be with him and his family. And so the character, she's just like a fish out of water. This is a whole new world for her. And then all of these things start happening to her. Like she wakes up, like she's having these night terrors. She's having these like weird hallucinations. She's waking up with scratches on her arms and just seeing things. And like no one is really believing her.
Right.
So so that adds an extra layer of what's going on, you know, because
especially someone coming from a city life to
to this southern coastal life. Yeah. So I mean, it was a fun role to play. I had a really great time. You know, the cast was amazing, and we shot in Savannah, Georgia, which is an absolutely beautiful city. And to kind of pull in the nail polish, the Geechee Witch has an aversion to the color blue. So, you know, even if you go to that part of the country, you'll see like people's doors painted blue, you know, different things painted blue just to kind of keep the Geechee Witch away.
And the color blue stems from the Geechee Witch. And how did you collaborate that into the story of the actual nail polish?
Yes, so the co-executor of the film reached out to me in July of last year, actually, and just said, you know, I have a co-branding opportunity that came across my desk. Let's talk. And so when she shared all the information, I was like, that's exactly why my brand exists. Like,
I love that, yes.
For us to tell stories through color. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And so she shared about the movie and just the vision for the project. And I'm like, you know, we can do it. You know, the whole journey itself, the color officially launched in January. So
it's new. I love it. Congratulations.
New. Thank you. And
it's a beautiful, vibrant blue.
Gorgeous.
Yes. I'm like, I want to change my nail color to that right now.
Right.
Beautiful, yeah.
And we didn't match on purpose.
I know.
I love it though. I love it.
Yeah.
But so the whole process started in July, just their initial conversation, and then, it's months until it actually launches. But it seemed like at every turn we were running into something that was almost blocking like us moving forward. And so it was like constant pivots. And so when we finally got to the end, we were just like, we know this is going to be big, because there's no way that all these little things keep happening. So we went through like four other picks of blue before we finally got to this blue. And this wasn't even the blue that was originally wanted. So to put something out that wasn't the original pick, we were kind of like, but it's like, this is it. Like, this is the color for a reason. And it's, been very well received. It matches the theme of the movie perfectly. And so it really ties in the cinema piece and then something tangible that people can take and wear, especially with the culture of people, painting their houses, like painting something to keep the Boo Hag away. And so, the act of painting your nails as a symbol of that is really what ties it all together.
And I feel like that color blue particularly can go on any skin of any color and look amazing, because it's just so vibrant, and it's a beautiful blue. You did a great job.
Thank you.
A great job.
I actually brought one just for you.
Thank you so much. Now I can really change my nail color. I went to Mexico not too long ago, and the guy, I went to this this shop that had natural gemstones, and the guy was like, I love your nail color. It looks like blood. I was like, oh. I was thinking wine.
Not what I was going for.
But not blood. So I'm like, I'm definitely wanting to change my nail color now. So this is perfect. Thank you so much. I love the story behind this brand. I love that it's called People of Color. And this particular color is Geechee Blue. So make sure you guys shop. It is available at Nordstrom's. So check them out at Nordstrom's. And where else do you sell this?
This is on our website, and then Nordstrom Century City and the New York City flagship are the two locations for the month of February.
Congratulations. Yes, Black History Month, shop Black-owned products, female Black-owned products at that.
Yes.
So, what was your favorite part in filming this movie?
Oh, wow. I had a lot of favorite parts. I have to say, the character, I think just the character was my favorite. I don't often get to be vulnerable in this way. Like, people see, when I'm auditioning for things, they're like, oh, she's the detective, she's the therapist, she's the lawyer, she's the cop, she's the, So to be able to play a woman who is, she's a business owner, she's an artist, but she's in this space where she's completely new. Everything around her is new. She's completely a fish out of water. And all of these things are happening to her. Her marriage is on the rocks. Like, everything is just going crazy. And she just gets to be a damsel in distress, but also have some strength, And I loved being able to see both of those things in one role, especially as a Black woman, because
I was just gonna say, I love that.
I'm like detective, police officer, cop, like lawyer, like everything is supposed to be strong and decisive, and that's great, but there's also a softness and vulnerability, so it was nice to be able to play that and still be strong, still have to fight and still have to, like convince someone of what's happening to me and all of those things. So I would have to say that was probably my favorite thing.
And how do you like play a role and kind of shut it off?
That can be hard depending on what you're doing. I think it's important to have really good people in your life who you can just talk to and be like, okay, so this is what happened on set today. This is what I had to do. I had to fight the witch. I had to, but be in a space where I can also have real life, like talk about other things outside of what I'm filming. So, and again, it really depends on what you're doing, because some roles will require like a really deep dive into just a lot of different things, like sometimes really dark things or really emotionally heavy things. So it's important to have those people in your life who can help pull you out of that. And then also for me, I would say my faith, like just being grounded, you know, in God, and especially for a movie like this where you're like, this is not real, but it looks real.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
like I'm really being chased by this thing, you know,
right,
like
110%. To where like that off switch of like, because I know one of my really good friends, she's an actress and she doesn't do thriller at all.
Yeah,
you know, and she's a very God-fearing woman.
Yeah,
and she's into comedy, and you know, like, so she's like, I want to do happy things and not like
we were just talking.
Yeah.
And she's very like, you know, pro-black for the culture, but she's like, I'm not, you know, it's just a matter of where you stand and what you are comfortable with doing. And I was like, you know, I'm very a deep thinker, and I overthink sometimes, so I'm like, would I be able to do this? Would I be able to sleep at night? I already don't sleep as is, you know. I'm like, how it was always a curiosity to me how like actors kind of decompress after a film, especially a thriller film, like, you know, The Joker or something of any type of scare exorcism movie, and you know, like, is there anything that you stay away from?
Yes, there are definitely things I stay away from. I stay away from things that are like super sexual. Just because, again, you're using your body to tell the story, and I'm like, I don't want to be, you know,
right, 110%.
You know,
I completely understand.
You know, so those kinds of things, and then also things that are kind of very, very evil, like things that just are purely evil, you know. And you know, people will probably question like, well, you did this,
right?
But for me, I think that it's important to feel a sense of peace about what you're doing. Pray about it, you know, seek wise counsel, see how it's you know, if you believe that this is a role you're meant to do, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's what I do. You know, I stay connected to people like friends and people who can like be there for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Praying, you know, all of that. So
absolutely,
that's important to me. Yeah,
absolutely. I commend you.
Thank you
for doing a thriller, being an actress, and just like memorizing everything, and you know, embodying your energy, your strength, your faith into what it is that you do, because that's a lot, and I commend you for it, because it's not easy, you know. And people think like, oh, it's just acting, and it's there's a talent behind it. It can carry on to your reality, you know, and it's not easy at all.
Things can attach to
absolutely. And I also tell people a lot, I think it's important to remember that this is a you know, we are in the business of show, you know what I mean, like putting on a show is the business. And so I think it's important to be able to recognize when the show is over and when you're going home. Like, you can be on the red carpet, you can win all the awards, you can look fabulous in the dresses and the makeup and all of the things. When you put your key in the door or put your code in or whatever you do, however you walk in your house, you take your shoes off, you take that dress off, those lashes off, the hair, the makeup, everything, and you put on your fuzzy robe, and the dishes still got to be done, or, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to separate, you know, the show from real life.
110%. So, and it's like, you know, I tell people all the time, we're not waking up like this, like we don't wake up looking like Beyonce, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Beyonce doesn't wake up looking like Beyonce.
Like, it's a process, it's time consuming, and it is just like, we have regular life outside of work, you know, and you, Jacqueline, how do you have time, or do you like do colors with your kids? Like, how do you have time for regular life outside of entrepreneurship?
It's mixed a lot now, because my business is also at home, and of course, you know, the family is at home. My daughter did push her way into making her own collection one time, so she did have a 3-color collection in like 2020 or something like that. So she's already asking like,
when's my next collection?
But it just takes teaching them, like just telling them, they're 4, 6, and 8 now, so it was really just taking the time to where they were old enough to understand for me to explain, okay, mommy and daddy have a business. This is, our working room. We call the office the working room. So that way they understand it's, when we're in here, we're working.
Right. This is our space. Don't bother us.
Yeah.
We got to work.
Right. And then I think including your children also in the process kind of puts it in their mind where they more understand what you're doing, but it also gives them responsibilities and something to do. So if I'm packing orders, which I still do at home, I'll be like, oh, Jada or Moreau, Kanan, can you put the fragile stickers on it? Can you put the happy mail stickers? Can you go get a bag so we can put these all in to take it to the post office? So I think once they were able to really be involved a little bit, it became more helpful than just, leave me alone, mommy's working, or oh my gosh, I can't get anything done because you want to play dolls and can we go play basketball and all of these things. So I really just think kind of what is the word?
Compartmentalize.
Yes, exactly. The time. So that way they kind of know what's going on and when is very helpful when it's organized chaos at home.
Trust me, I completely understand. We have a very large blended family, so there's 8 children, and and in our family,
where's your gray hairs? I don't
girl, right here. Let me show you.
Let me pull it out.
Don't show it on camera, but it's there.
They are there.
It is there. It is there. But it's a great time. Everyone has different personalities, and I completely understand when you have work to do, and the kids are like, "But I want to play." But you're always working, and
I know the always word kills me.
Yes.
I'm like internally, I'm like, really, always.
Mom, can you do this with me, please? Please. And then bat the eyes, and I'm like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like
there's 8 of you. Go
play. And they adore each other, and they're really good kids.
Yeah.
And they're growing up so fast, and it's always like, when are we gonna have more? And then it goes back to the compromise with the man.
Yeah.
So that's, it's hard to balance work and children and just attending and giving your time to both, and kind of just trying to figure out what I like to call it is our bullseye. Like, what are you giving more percentage to, and why, and for how long, and what's the most important? What's your bullseye? What's your 10%? What's your 20%? What's your 30 and 50, whatever. So it's kind of like not giving everything you're all the time, but still giving 100%. So that's kind of like
that was the biggest lesson for me too. Was at first I was like, what do they call it? The life balance.
Work-life balance.
Right. I'm for the first year and a half of business, I was like, I got to get this work-life balance thing, under control. And it would never happen. And then I would be stressed and burnt out. That's probably where the gray hairs came from.
Girl, I don't see no gray hairs.
I know. Like in the front. But and then so I said, this is phony. Like, it doesn't exist. So I just more so focused and learned prioritization was most important, because I'm like, okay, today is this day. These are my priorities, and that's what I'm going to focus on today. And if it was all work one day, then the kids knew it, and everybody knew it, and then they knew that the next day is their day. Like, mommy finished all her work, and we're gonna go to the park after school and do all these other things. And so just the list of priorities, and really focusing on, okay, maybe one family thing, one business thing, one personal thing. If that's all I get done today, I'm happy. Versus having a whole list for all 3 categories and never getting anything done.
110%. And I'm a strong believer in notes on my phone and jotting down checklists and, all right, this is what has to be done, prioritizing, making that pyramid of making sure this is the most important today. Tomorrow I can get this done, or this has to be done today. So that's very essential, especially for, being a mom and just having to prioritize certain things, and having a business, and still processing orders, and just life. And you're a life coach. Speaking of life.
I am, yes.
Speaking of life. I know. How do we stay away from the grace? Please send help.
Well, it's interesting you talk about work-life balance, because that's something that I talk to a lot of people about. A lot of people are trying to figure that out. And there's this idea that balance means that everything is just like this all the time. And that's like not it at all.
Not
like,
realistic.
Like if you think about a seesaw goes up and down, side to side, depending on, who's on it. So you have one person on one side and they go down and one person goes up. So if I think about work-life balance that way, like it's always going to be movement. There's always going to be movement. And you just have to decide, like you said, what is the priority today? What is today's most important task? And what's on the list that, like, if I get it done today, that's great. But if I don't, it's okay to move it till tomorrow or to the end of the week. So it's like balance is like always, it's just always steady shifts and changes. It's not something that's completely still, never moving. There's always like small adjustments, you know what I mean?
I like to prioritize with like green light, what's on the green side, what's on the caution side, yellow, and what's red. We have to do it now, right now, yesterday. Not today, but yesterday.
Right. This can't keep carrying over.
Absolutely. Speaking of carrying, this game, pick your poison.
All right, let's do it.
We're going to pick it away. And, okay, rules of the game. You can't remix. It's a game of would you rather. So you can't remix your answer. You can give an explanation as to why you answered the way that you answered. And you can't change, remix is. What's the other rule? I forgot. You can't remix. You can't.
You can't skip, right?
You can't. Yeah, you can't.
Okay.
You can't skip. You can. Okay, we can all pick cards. This one you have to ask what's on this card or what's on that card. So I'll go first to show you guys. Pick your poison. Would you rather have irremovable nostril hair that extend beyond your upper lip,
Oh my goodness.
or have hair growing inside of your mouth?
Oh my goodness gracious.
Wait, what was the first one again?
Have irremovable nostril hair that extend beyond your upper lip, so like right here. Like pretty much a mustache coming from your nose.
Like from your nose.
Just like long
that you can't cut.
that
Like you can't
irremovable. Or have hair growing inside of your mouth.
Oh gosh, that's horrible.
Gosh.
I'll say the first one because you could like style it. It could be like a cute, like you could like
Put it in a
braid
corner and stick it back up.
give it some curls or something.
I'm gonna have to agree with that answer.
Because I can't have hair in my mouth. That's crazy.
Yes.
I remember one time, my spouse, I think we had like, what is spinach? Was it spinach dip? And he's like, it looks like clogged hair. And I was like, okay, we're not doing the spinach dip
over.
anymore. Okay, it's on you guys. Yeah.
Dip. Okay, so I pick
two and then read one or the other.
Okay. Would you rather be invisible to drivers whenever you step into a crosswalk, or be banished to Antarctica?
Oh, invisible to drivers, so then you get hit if they don't see you.
Yeah.
Well, not if you're invisible,
Well, but I guess
right?
maybe that means they can drive through you. Maybe.
I think so.
Is that what that
So they
means?
could
I
drive
think so.
through you, but would you be able to feel it?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I don't want to feel getting hit.
Yeah, I know.
Questions.
Antarctica just sounds terrible. Like I don't even know how
Right.
long I would live. I know.
Cold and,
Right.
yeah.
I watched this movie on Netflix, like Society of the Snow, and I was like, oh, that was just tough. They're like in the snow, like
the
with
time.
nothing. Their plane crashed in the snow, and they had like nothing, and it ended up being cannibalism because they were literally in the middle of like just snowy mountains.
gosh.
It was. Ooh, so now I'm thinking Antarctica. I'm like, I don't want to be nowhere near
Right.
where no one lives.
No.
Like,
Right.
where are the
And it's just
penguins
cold
at?
all the time.
Yeah, we're people of the sun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think I'll do the
110%.
cars.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do the cars.
Yeah, I
Just
would
don't.
probably
Especially
do
in
that
New
one
York
too.
City, yeah.
Yes.
That'd be
Yeah.
perfect
As long as
to
I
get
can't feel
around.
it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got. Okay. Would you rather have an unshavable unibrow or get an unstoppable nosebleed whenever you get on a plane?
Unstoppable. Oh, the unibrow is not too flattering. I feel like the nosebleed every time you get on a plane.
That's
Unstoppable.
crazy.
So if you're going
You're
somewhere
just
far,
bleeding constantly.
The other one was the
unshavable unibrow.
Could you like shape it?
I think so.
unshapeable.
You can probably slick it down.
Yeah,
Put a little
you can
part
stick
and try to.
and like
Edge
try to
control.
Give yourself, right, give yourself a tiny little part and just like move. You
Right.
know.
Um,
Oh man.
I would probably do the plain.
Yeah.
I would just, like, I'm sorry guys. I have like
You
I
just
have
have your
a disorder
towels.
that just every time I reach a certain altitude and
Just
bleeding.
excuse me while I fix my nose.
Yeah, because then once
The
you get off the
whole
plane,
ride.
it stops.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I just feel like the unibrow is like, you can't shave it. It's there forever.
Yeah.
it really is.
I think I might have to go with the bloody nose.
I agree.
That's
I'm
crazy
on
though,
the-
but yeah.
Yeah, because at least it's not.
Or
all
you
the
could
time.
just travel by car or by boat or by
Yeah.
private jet. It doesn't,
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily have to be a plane.
Yeah.
Or shout out to your other guests and walk.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can just be prepared. You just have all your towels and you're like, okay, I'm prepared to like ride like
Right.
this the whole time.
Yeah, now we have masks, so we could just shove little like, tissues in our
Up the
nose
nose,
or
yeah.
nostril and
I
just
know,
like
I'm
changing
replace
it
it.
constantly.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking of business ideas like, if this was for real, like
What could I create?
exactly.
Exactly.
That's a whole business idea.
Yeah.
Seriously, or just hold my nose,
Hold
my
it
head
back,
up,
yeah.
and just let it go to where it needs to go.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
All right, tell everybody where they can find you, what you guys have coming
Yes.
up, all that good stuff.
Yes. You want to go first? You go
Okay.
first.
Well, as we shared, you can find us on our website, peopleofcolorbeauty.com. All of our socials are also at People of Color Beauty. Geechee Witch colors available on our website and at the Century City LA Nordstrom and the flagship in New York City.
And for me, you can find me on Instagram at Tryphena_Wade. You can find Geechee Witch on Instagram at Geechee Witch Movie. And right now, that's the big thing that I'm like pushing is the movie. So go see it if
Go
it's in a
see
city
it.
near you.
Yes.
It's in Regal theaters across the country. So just check your local Regal theater, see if it's there. And I have a couple movies coming out later this year. But if you go to my Instagram, when I can share, then you'll see about it.
Yes, make sure you guys tune into everything that Tryphena and Jacqueline have going on. Get you the Geechee Witch, Geechee Blue, People of Color nail polish. I want to make sure I get all that right. Shop all her nail polishes and all her collections. Make sure you guys go to Nordstrom's at Century City, as well as the flagship in New York. Tune into everything that Jacqueline and Tryphena have going on as far as her movies that are coming out. Follow them on Instagram, and that is it for today.